And this segment of the Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Kin Sporting Goods in Norco, #1 in the Inland Empire for team uniforms, sports equipment, and Letterman's jackets. Boost Performance Training in Corona. Athletes of all levels and all sports train at Boost. And also ask about the Bass Private School. Paulson Orthodontics in Redlands. Personalized treatment you deserve from an orthodontist you can trust. Chick-fil-A in Yucaipa, right off the 10 freeway at Yucaipa Boulevard. Eat more chicken. And if you'd like to promote your business or organization on the show, send us an email. Help us share the positive sports stories here in the Inland Empire. And what's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's Inland Sports Show. I'm your host, Pep Fernandez. We appreciate you tuning in as we do have high school football this week. Not only scrimmages, but also real live games. So we're going to preview some of those games, also look ahead to week 0 and hear from some of our local high school football teams, including Norco High School star running back Trevor Schneider, coming off a huge freshman year in which he rushed for more than 1,000 yards on the ground, and the Perris Panthers. They're going to have a great offense. Ryan Arredondo is one of the top QBs in the area. Big offensive line in front of him. And they're moving to a new league, to the Inland Valley League. And the Perris Panthers feel like they got a real shot to maybe bring home a league title in 2024. So we'll get to those a little bit later in the show. But as we mentioned, we do have some real live games this week. So CIF says if you play out of state, you can have what they call a double week 0 game. So that means you can play a game before everybody else if you play out of state. So that's the case for not only Beaumont, but also Redlands High School, as they will both open up the season tomorrow night on the road in Hawaii. So that's where we start the show tonight. It's our Kin Sporting Goods must-see game. So if we have a double week 0, we're going to have double the Kin Sporting Goods must-see game. So we have Beaumont taking on Kamehameha, and that's the first game of a doubleheader at Radford Stadium at Radford High School in Hawaii. So Beaumont will take on Kamehameha, and then in the CBL continues as the Redlands Terriers will take on the Radford Rams. So 2 CBL schools playing back-to-back in a doubleheader in Hawaii, and those are our Kin Sporting Goods must-see games. So this is double week 0, as they call it. So what's interesting is, and we heard from Coach Jeff Steinberg at Beaumont and Bob Stengel at Redlands a couple weeks ago here on the Inland Sports Show, is that because they play early on in the season, now they have 2 byes built into their schedule, which is kind of interesting and probably maybe an advantage for the Terriers and the Cougars going forward. So because of the double week 0, 2 byes now in the regular season as they play through week 10 before the playoffs. So high school football, real games. Thursday night, we also have a bunch of scrimmages throughout the Inland Empire Thursday and Friday night. So if you have a week 0 game, you're scrimmaging this week. I know there's a big one at King High School involving Hillcrest. I think Elsinore is there as well. Another huge one at Murrieta Valley involving Cajon. I know they're going to be there. That one's going to be a lot of fun. So there's a lot of great scrimmages out there this week as we head into week 0 next week. So with that said, here on the Inland Sports Show, during scrimmage week, the week before week 0, is when we like to unveil our Boost Top 25 preseason poll. So we put it out there on social media for you guys, you coaches, former coaches, players, fans, parents, whatever you might be, to send us an email or a direct message. Some of you have my cell. You texted me as well, and I do appreciate it. So we want to get your feedback. How would you rank the top 25 teams in the Inland Sports Show coverage area? So we took your feedback plus our own calculations, and we present to you the Boost preseason top 25, and it was very difficult. So without further ado, let me make sure this one is ready to roll, and it looks like it is. Here's our Boost top 25 preseason poll. So of course, it's going to be Centennial on top. The Huskies are loaded again, and it sure looks like it's going to be another Centennial versus Mater Dei versus St. John Bosco D1 semifinal or championship game this year. In fact, Centennial is going to open the season against Mater Dei in week 0. If you haven't heard, Mater Dei, like Centennial, they struggle to find opponents. Nobody wants to play them, and Mater Dei is only going to play a 9-game schedule. They couldn't even find 10 teams to play this year. One of them had to be Centennial. They're going to play probably Centennial twice because they're going to see them in the playoffs. So anyway, Centennial's at number 1. Then it gets a little murky. Murrieta Valley checks in at number 2. They've got a lot of guys coming back, including star quarterback Bear Bachmeyer. Cajon checks in at number 3. The Cowboys have everybody back on offense, and they were really good last year on the offensive side of the football. They're going to score a lot of points. Head coach Nick Rogers was on the Inland Sports Show a couple weeks ago and said this offense has the potential to be very special, similar to the 2017 Cajon team. And if you remember, that was the team quarterbacked by the Heisman winner and Washington Commanders quarterback Jaden Daniels that won a CIF championship. So keep that in mind. Chaparral, they lost their quarterback to Mater Dei, but they are still loaded. They got a bunch of D1 guys. The Pumas come in at number 4. Orange Vista, the reigning CIF Southern Section Division 5 champions, come in at number 5. Citrus Valley checks in at number 6, the reigning Citrus Belt League champions, followed by Vista Murrieta in at number 7, led by Coley Candell, of course, at head coach. Aquinas in at number 8. They've got a bunch of guys back, including their quarterback, JoJo Solis, the star running back, is going to be a senior this year, expected to have a huge season for the Falcons. So they're at number 8. The Jack checks in at number 9, San Jacinto. They got their guy, Showtime Patterson, in at QB, so he'll be leading the way, followed by the Rancho Verde. That rounds out the top 10. So based on your feedback, your input, and our calculations, that is what we came up with for our top 10. And the top 10 was difficult. The 11 through 25 on the other side was probably even more difficult. Just very, very tough. So we check it. We start with Roosevelt in at number 11. I know Roosevelt's got a lot of dudes, but it's hard to say when there's a coaching change. But then Coach Crone's a great guy, great coach, so you know they're going to be playing well. Followed by Liberty. Liberty now, remember, the Bison make the move over to the Ivy League. So they're no longer in the Mountain Pass with San Jacinto. They're now in the Ivy League, so things will get a little tougher for the Bison. But Coach Contreras, one of the best in the area, and he's got a lot of guys coming back from a team that's still, that school's still relatively new. It's still a new school. Beaumont comes in at number 13. I know they lost some guys through transferring, but Coach Steinberg does a great job. They're always well prepared. And I saw a picture, Coach Fabella out there at Beaumont put a picture of his offensive line on social media. They are big and they are strong, so expect another big season from Beaumont. Norco checks in at number 14. A little bit later in tonight's show, we're going to hear from star running back Trevor Schneider, who says the Cougars are poised to have a real bounce-back season, something to prove. So we'll see from Norco. They're in at number 14. Murrieta Mesa at 15. Great Oak at 16. Now, based on your feedback, a lot of people are very excited about Murrieta Mesa. They think the Rams are going to have a really good year. And Great Oak, the defending league champion for the Big West Lower. So it's hard to separate those two. They're pretty close. So we put Murrieta Mesa at 15, Great Oak at 16, followed by Eisenhower at 17, King High School at 18. Now, King is the other school that, based on what we know and what you told us, King is another school that could challenge for that league title with Marietta Mesa and Great Oak. Norta Vista at 19, we heard that they could potentially be as good or maybe better than last year's team that not only won the River Valley League Championship, but for the CIF Southern Section Playoffs. Remember, they were slotted in Division 4. That's pretty high up there. So the Braves feel like they could be just as good as last year if they can fulfill all that potential. Yucaipa comes in at number 20, followed by Summit at 21, Vista Del Lago at 22. Vista Del Lago now in the Ivy League as well, like Liberty making that jump. Harupa Hills at 23. They are now led by the great Tommy Leach as the head coach. Harupa Hills coming off a CIF and state championship season. So you know Tommy Leach is going to try to pick that where they left off and keep it going. Hemet at 24. Now listen, based on your feedback on social media, there was a couple schools that got a lot of love from your text messages, your DMs, your emails. I think the two that got the most, maybe the three that got the most, Orange Vista, Marietta Mesa, and Hemet, man. You guys are excited about Hemet, and they are the favorite to win the Sunbelt League Championship when we did our predicted league champions. So keep an eye on the Bulldogs. And rounding out our top 25 poll is Paloma Valley, and the Wildcats are in the Ivy League now as they move with Vista Del Lago and Liberty to the Ivy League. So it's going to be tough with, who am I missing? Orange Vista, Rancho Verde, and JW North. Man, that is a great league for high school football. So that's our Boost preseason top 25 poll. I'm sure even after week 0, we could have some movement. Maybe even after double week 0. What if Redlands has a commanding win and they need to go in the top 25? Or Beaumont has a big win and they need to move up a little bit. So things could quickly change, but we do appreciate your feedback. We needed your input to make this happen. Because you guys know, I mean, we can't be at every game. We can't be at every practice. You guys are eyes and ears, and we appreciate you giving us your feedback, your input for the top 25 poll. And as you guys already know, every week throughout the high school football season, we will rank the top 25 teams in the Inland Sports Show coverage area. So we will do this every week. And as teams win and lose, of course, the top 25 poll could look very different from week to week. But this is how we will start out the season in 2024. All right, when we come back here on the Inland Sports Show, let's get to some high school football. First up, it'll be Norco High School running back Trevor Schneider when we come back here on your favorite show, the Inland Sports Show. We'll be right back after this.
And this segment of the Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Kin Sporting Goods in Norco, #1 in the Inland Empire for team uniforms, sports equipment, and Letterman's jackets. Boost Performance Training in Corona. Athletes of all levels and all sports train at Boost. And also ask about the Bass Private School. Paulson Orthodontics in Redlands. Personalized treatment you deserve from an orthodontist you can trust. Chick-fil-A in Yucaipa, right off the 10 freeway at Yucaipa Boulevard. Eat more chicken. And if you'd like to promote your business or organization on the show, send us an email. Help us share the positive sports stories here in the Inland Empire.
Thank God, first of all. I thank the great people that I've got around me that help support me, the people that work for me. As I started, if it wasn't for the people around me, we probably wouldn't be here right now, but I've got a great staff. I've got great people that do stuff for us outside the store, and we've been very, very fortunate. Our service is impeccable, and we just keep trying to get better every year. We can do online stuff for your teams, as well as, like I said, the screen printing, the embroidery. We also have 3 women that do extra sewing for us, like tackle tool on uniforms, or the bling or rhinestones for different shirts for the ladies. That's why we have certain racks just for certain schools, and the fun about that is that it turns into other schools that may come in here that aren't as close, that we can do stuff for them as well. We've had very, very good customers throughout the years, and it's just been a blast.
Should your child lift weights before hitting their growth spurt? I get this question a lot from parents, and the simple answer is yes. Think of it as a long accumulation phase where athletes get modest gains in strength, power, and coordination. And when their growth spurt does hit, often it's to a larger degree than athletes who didn't lift weights at all. So remember, develop early, specialize late. Your boy, Boost Man.
The Inland Sports Show is proud to partner with Dr. Marcus Paulson and Paulson Orthodontics in Redlands. Dr. Paulson and his team work with children, teens, and adults using orthodontic products like traditional braces and Invisalign to make a difference in the appearance, comfort, and function of each patient's teeth. Paulson Orthodontics welcomes new patients, so schedule a visit today. Paulson Orthodontics. We make braces fun.
And welcome back to the Inland Sports Show, everybody. Talking more high school football here in double week 0. Also scrimmage week for a lot of our teams that actually play in week 0 next week. One of those teams will be the Norco Cougars. They have a huge game in week 0 against Cajon. The Cougars will once again be led by running back Trevor Schneider, coming off a 1,000-yard season on the ground. In fact, he even led the Cougars in receiving yards last year as a freshman. Now, if you know Norco football, they had a long playoff streak where it was more than 3 decades of making the playoffs. They didn't make the playoffs last year. They were winless in league play, but the Cougars feel like they've got enough talent. They're going to have a bounce-back season, but if you look at their schedule, it is brutal. They got a tough schedule. Not only the Big West Conference games are going to be tough, of course, but also their non-league with starting things off with Cajon. I know Etiwanda's on that schedule, Rancho Cucamonga. So their non-league is also very, very tough, playing some of the best teams in the Inland Empire. I think Citrus Valley's on there as well, as you're about to hear from Trevor Schneider. We'll go over the schedule with Trevor. So their schedule is brutal, but Trevor says they are up for the challenge. So we'll see what Norco can do this season. They're one of the top programs in the IE consistently for decades. So they're trying to get back on top, get back to the postseason. And as we've seen, once you get to the playoffs, anything can happen. You just got to fight your way through league play, get that playoff spot, and then once you get to the postseason, it's like a whole new ball game. So here is Norco running back Trevor Schneider talking about the upcoming season, getting Norco back to the playoffs, and that daunting non-league schedule. Here is star running back Trevor Schneider on the Inland Sports Show. Inland Sports. And now join us here on the Inland Sports Show as we get ready for the 2024 high school football season. He is a star running back for your Norco Cougars. It's Trevor Schneider joining us here on the program. And Trevor, first off, before we look at this season for Norco, let's rewind back to last year. You had a huge breakout freshman season, over 1,000 yards on the ground. Did you even surprise yourself to a certain degree how much success you had as a freshman at the varsity level?
Oh, definitely, because, playing varsity as a freshman, it's like a whole nother level of football, because most people don't realize how much different youth ball is to high school. And that's why I keep telling all the kids that are coming into high school that playing high school football is crazy different than everything I've ever realized. So I definitely surprised myself because I never realized how dominant I could be. But yeah, it was just I did surprise myself a lot.
And I think I had your stats open in front of me a little bit earlier. I know Norco didn't throw the ball a ton, but I think you led the team in receiving yards as well. Is that correct?
I think I did. I'm not gonna lie. I think I did too, but I'm not really sure.
Yeah, let's see. You had 234 receiving yards, which was tops on the team as well. Again, you guys didn't throw the ball a ton, but I don't know if you were going to compare yourself to let's say a guy in the NFL. I don't know if it's Christian McCaffrey, because if you can catch the ball out of the backfield as well.
That's what I was gonna say. Like everyone asked me who I idolize my game after. It's definitely CMC.
That's a good one to pick, man.
It's always been that way, yeah.
The NFL, I'd call him the NFL MVP if you ask me. I'm a 49er fan, so I'll go with him every day of the week.
Yeah, you're gonna be a little biased.
Well, Trevor, okay, so let's talk about this season. What are the goals for Norco football? Get into the playoffs, get back there, right?
Oh, definitely, and win a couple playoff games for sure. We had a down year last year because of our new coaching staff coming in late, but we've had a full year to work together and really get in rhythm together with new transfers that we got and the playbook and everything. So I felt a lot better about this year than how I did last year.
What was the offseason like? What'd you guys do to feel like you're going to give yourself a better chance this season?
Well, we had a lot more practice and preparation, throughout the weeks and summer ball and spring ball. And even now, because last year during this time, we felt rushed, having our scrimmages and only having so much time to work. So it definitely feels a lot better than last year. But it's like, it's just.
Do you feel like work always wins? I know it's kind of a sports cliche, but like if you put in the work, the results will eventually happen.
Yes, that's what I live by. That if you want something in life, you got to work for it. And that's how my whole family lives by. But, definitely we've worked a lot more. We've prepared a lot more. So I think as a team, we were feeling a lot more comfortable than what we did last year.
That's a perfect segue, because I was going to ask you, what's kind of the vibe? What's kind of the mood? What's kind of the mindset of this year's team? Because I feel like maybe you guys, to a certain degree, have something to prove. Like, hey, you know what? Norco
definitely
had a down season, but we feel like we're going to bounce back this year.
Oh, definitely. We want to prove that last year wasn't us and that we're a whole new football team coming in this second year. Definitely.
Trevor, do you ever put any, personal milestones? Like, I don't know if you make goals for yourself each season, but like, is it 1,500 yards on the ground or, get the team to the playoffs? Like, do you ever set goals for yourself or the team before the season even begins?
Yeah, speaking of that, I actually have a list on my door right here about what goals I need to accomplish this year. And I look at it every day before I step out into the world and thinking of what I need to accomplish myself. But some of those big goals are making all league, all CIF, and making playoffs and rushing for 2,000 yards. So it's like it helps me realize what I want every day so I can push myself every day.
Not too long ago, Norco had a great running back named Toby Gerhart. I'm sure you probably heard of the name. And
yeah, I'm well aware.
Yeah, so, I mean, do you look up to guys like that? I mean, because Norco's had a ton of great players come through that program. There's a lot of tradition, a big legacy with the Cougars program. Yeah,
definitely. Toby's definitely one guy I do look up to because he was in the same spot I was. He went through the JAF program that I went through, and he grew up in the small town that I'm growing up in, and he made it to that level. So it's definitely motivating that I can get to that level because he did it. But yeah, he's always been, because growing up has always been Toby Gerhart this, Toby Gerhart that. And I was actually just watching his film the other day. I was like, dude, this guy was a monster back then.
He was a monster, man.
Yeah, I was like, I'm glad I can be compared to, because some people do compare me to him. I'm like, I can be glad I can be half of what that guy is.
Yeah, he was from Norco to Stanford to the NFL, man. He was a beast.
Yeah.
And I think does he still have the? I think he still has the Inland Empire rushing career record. I think he still has the most rushing yards.
Yeah, I was just looking at that the other day. He does. So that's crazy though. Like to put up those numbers is insane.
Yeah, he was off the charts. So good. Okay, let me ask you then. Speaking about running the football, the offensive line. How is it looking this season for Norco up front?
Definitely looks a lot better this year than last year because the transfers that we got last year, they were juniors, now they're gonna be seniors, but they never, because they had said those 5 games, so never really got in rhythm with the kids that were playing before and since when they came in. But yeah, like I said, we're all in kind of rhythm now, so the O-line's feeling better, everything's looking better because we're all working as a team, and that we don't have some kids playing and not playing. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it definitely is like the O-line is definitely shining a lot more than what they did last year.
So, Trevor, as we do this interview, you guys are going back to school at Norco High School on Tuesday. Yeah. But you were telling me you guys have been doing morning practices, which is great, and you kind of escape some of those higher temperatures out there when it gets really hot during the afternoon. Do you like those, and do you like the morning practices? And you were telling me too, you're a big nap guy, man. So am I. A little power nap never hurt anybody.
Yeah, definitely. Well, because the afternoons right now, it's miserable with how hot it is and how humid it is right now. So definitely practicing in the morning, it's like your mind is fresh. Nothing goes on during the day that would affect you during practice. So it's like your mind is fresh, get practice over with, go to school, come home and do schoolwork, and then you do it all over again. So you don't have any distractions throughout practice. So you just get to worry about football in the morning and then you worry about all this other stuff later.
So Trevor, your scrimmage for you guys this season, who are you scrimmaging against and when?
St. John Bosco, and it's on Friday.
Woo! That's big boy football right there.
Big boy football. We scrimmaged them last year, and it was my first high school scrimmage game. And I'll tell you, it was nerve-wracking. I'll never experience anything like that again. Well, maybe if I get to college, but it was a crazy moment because when we played them last year, they were the defending state champs but it's definitely a whole nother level. Like, we'll play Centennial's a similar vibe to that, sure. But most of the teams that we play isn't like that. Like, they're fast, they're sound, they hit. It's crazy over there.
But it's good for you guys, right? I mean, you're going to get a test. You're going to find out, are we close to being where we want to be, or do we still have a lot to work for?
Oh, definitely, because it gives you the right exposure as well. Like, you're going against these 5 and 4 stars and 3 stars every single play, and so if you pop off against them, it's great exposure.
Yeah. All right, Trevor, so obviously we all know the Big West is tough, brutal. There's so many good teams. Mm-hmm. But, dude, even your non-league, man, honestly, I don't know if there's a team out there that has a tougher non-league 5-game schedule. You guys have Cajon, Upland, Rancho Cuc, Etiwanda, and Citrus Valley, dude. I mean, that's when you look at the non-league and then the Big West, I mean, literally there's no weeks off, man. That might be the toughest schedule in the whole IE.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Our coach, he definitely wants to go against the best of the best. And that's what I really like about him is he wants every single week to be a battle because he believes that we deserve to go up against the best. So it's definitely a good feeling because we're going against probably the best teams in the IE.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, it's just, I'm excited to play against all these good teams. It's definitely exciting.
Yeah, no doubt. I was looking at your schedule. I'm like, wow, I don't know if there's a tougher schedule.
Not a single game off.
Yeah, this is tough, but that's fun. That's what makes it fun. And I'm a huge fan of Coach Barledge. In fact, not too long ago, he led Valley View to a state championship appearance. Yeah. So I know he's a heck of a coach. He has a lot of experience at RCC as well. Yeah. Trevor, listen, man, thank you so much, dude. It was good catching up with you. Congrats on that huge freshman season, but I know you're probably expecting a lot out of yourself going into your sophomore year here.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
You got it. That's Trevor Schneider here on the Inland Sports Show. Norco High School running back as the Cougars get set to kick off the 2024 season.
Inland Sports.
All right, thank you to Trevor Schneider for that interview. We're big fans of Coach Barledge. We know he'll get Norco going in the right direction. And as you heard from Trevor, before that huge game in Week 0 against Cajon, they're scrimmaging St. John Bosco. So they're going to be battle-tested right after that scrimmage, taking on one of the top teams in the southern section and the nation for that matter. All right, we come back here on the Inland Sports Show. We're going to check in with the Perris Panthers. They have left the Mountain Pass League. Speaking of battle-tested, they've left the Mountain Pass League where they've been going up against San Jacinto and Liberty and Tahquitz and some really good teams there. So they feel like they're battle-tested. They've seen a lot of great teams to get them ready for a league title run now in the Inland Valley League. So we'll check in with the Perris Panthers when we come back here on your favorite show, the Inland Sports Show. We'll be right back.
And this segment of the Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Kin Sporting Goods in Norco, #1 in the Inland Empire for team uniforms, sports equipment, and letterman's jackets. Boost Performance Training in Corona. Athletes of all levels and all sports train at Boost. And also ask about the Bass Private School. Paulson Orthodontics in Redlands. Personalized treatment you deserve from an orthodontist you can trust. Chick-fil-A in Yucaipa, right off the 10 freeway at Yucaipa Boulevard. Eat more chicken. And if you'd like to promote your business or organization on the show, send us an email. Help us share the positive sports stories here in the Inland Empire.
Is it important to have your kid on the A team? Absolutely not. If you have some serious goals for your young athlete, don't forget to focus on the bigger picture. Instead of trying to get them on the A team, focus on finding them a good coach. Coaches who attract the best players aren't always great developers, whereas a coach who can instill what your child needs to reach their potential, that's priceless. Boost man.
Since, being a Cajon Cowboy, a dual threat quarterback. So you try to take away the aerial attack, he'll run it. If you try to, load up the box, he's going to throw it through the air. He can do both. So great start for him. And again, he's the franchise quarterback. He's not going to see a ton of playing time in the preseason. But the little glimpse that we got, I can see why Commanders fans are very, very excited about him, because we know he can already do it. We've seen him, do this for many, many years already.
I like it, though, that they are playing in the preseason some. There was this thing and Sean McVay kind of started it.
Yes.
Not playing my starters. I kind of like it. You know what? There's risk involved. It's the way it is. Yes, someone will get hurt. However, for their development, I think it's great that they're playing.
Yeah, if I could use a sports cliche and say live bullets, right? You got to see some live bullets at some point, right? So that first real regular season NFL game, you're not caught off guard. You're comfortable. You've seen it before. Man, it is heating up in the National League West right now. If you're a Dodgers fan, you are looking in the rearview mirror on this Monday morning, because the Padres and the Diamondbacks are both only 3.5 games out of first place, right behind the Dodgers on their heels. But help is on the way. Mookie Betts reportedly will return to the Dodgers today. He hasn't played in about 2 months because of a left hand injury. So he fractured his left hand, had to sit on the shelf for a couple months, but he's supposed to be back today, and they need him big time.
Finally, man, not only his play and his, second base, shortstop, wherever they need him stuff, but also in the clubhouse. He gives you confidence, man. I like Mookie a lot.
Yeah, I mean, the Dodgers have had their fair share of injuries, so that lineup has looked a lot different, over the last couple of weeks and months. So to have that stability, having him in the clubhouse, seeing his name written in the lineup every single day, I think that counts a lot. And from what Dave Roberts has said, Mookie Betts, who has been the Dodgers' starting shortstop, he's going to be playing out in right field on his return. Not to say he won't end up at shortstop at some point where he was playing, but as they bring him back after that the fractured left hand injury, he's going to be in right field. But it doesn't matter. Just put him in the lineup. He's going to hit. He's going to do a good job wherever you put him on the field.
Inland Sports.
And welcome back to the Inland Sports Show. Talking more high school football as we are in scrimmage week for most teams that have a week 0 game. As we mentioned at the very beginning of the show, Beaumont and Redlands both have a week 00 game. So they're playing Thursday night, tomorrow night in Hawaii. All right, we want to check in with the Perris Panthers. They're going to be pretty good on offense, led by quarterback Ryan Arredondo. They got a big, strong offensive line in front of him, and Ryan says he's got lots of weapons on the outside, so you can see the Panthers throwing the ball quite a bit this season, but he says don't sleep on the run because they'll run the football as well. They're also in the Inland Valley League, so they feel like they have a chance to compete for a league championship and try to get Perris back into the CIF Southern Section playoffs. So with all that said, here's our exclusive interview with the Perris Panthers on the Inland Sports Show. Inland Sports. And joining us here on the Inland Sports Show as we get a little bit closer to the start of the 2024 high school football season, the Perris Panthers back on the prowl, trying to maybe win a league title, get back into the postseason. We've got offensive coordinator Mike Arredondo, quarterback Ryan Arredondo, 3 offensive linemen as well. And Coach, let me start with you. This feels like a team that's going to put up some points this season. Where do you think this Perris football team will be strong here in 2024, Coach?
I believe we'll be stronger in the trenches this year, and as long as we all stick to our assignments and stay focused at the task at hand, I believe we'll be successful this year.
So, Coach, I know we're going to talk to some of your linemen right now, but, how critical is their play to the success of this team? Because, obviously Ryan's got to have time to throw or run. So do you feel like, I know it's a sports cliche, especially a football one, but, the game is kind of one up front, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. They're going to be a big part in our offensive game plan this year. Like I said, as long as we keep practicing hard, we'll be successful.
All right, Coach Arredondo, let me get to some of your guys as well. Let me start with Damanye Brown. And Damanye, how much pride do you guys take when Ryan, the quarterback, is putting up big numbers? Because I think that speaks volumes of what you guys are able to accomplish up front, right?
Yes, sir.
So what do you think is key as an offensive line to be successful? What do you guys have to do well?
What I feel like we have to do well is get in the weight room, be strong, and trust that our quarterbacks, we're going to trust in our teammates and our quarterback that we're going to get the job done. And we got to be physical in the trenches because it's a dirty place.
It is a dirty place. It's a dirty, violent place in there down on the trenches. Damanye, compared to last season to this year's team, what feels or looks different about you guys that you feel like, hey, we're optimistic, we're going to have a good year?
That we worked on off-season, our attitudes. Because anytime we would start losing or get into a losing streak, our heads will go straight down, straight right away, instead of trying to keep our energy up to get our momentum going and keep riding like the engine of a car.
Nah, I love that answer.
That's what's important.
That's a great answer right there, Damanye. Let me go to your guy right next to you, DJ Washington. And DJ, same thing, like, up front, you've got to have a little bit of an attitude, right? You got to be a little nasty up there because that's what good offensive linemen are. So what do you think is key to being a great offensive lineman?
I feel key is that we have to have the same type of connection with our quarterback as he has with us, like the same trust. Mm-hmm. I feel if we trust him enough, he can trust us to keep him safe.
So DJ, let me ask you. So I assume you guys have a scrimmage coming up to get ready for the season. So in that scrimmage, obviously coming out healthy is probably the biggest thing, right? You just want to be healthy and get ready for that first regular season game. But what are you hoping to maybe work on, without giving away all your secrets, but what are you guys hoping to work on as an offensive unit in that scrimmage?
Execute all our plays, execute everything that we've been working on in the offseason. Just execute, and fight.
The time is now, man. I can't believe it. It's almost football season. We're going scrimmages and right into week 0. It's going to be crazy. Let's swing the camera to the other side. We got one more offensive lineman we want to get on the show as well, Alex Trujillo. And Alex, Damanye and DJ, I don't know if they stole all the good answers already, because those were great answers. But, how much of the success of this Perris football team is going to rely on what you guys are able to do up front, on the line? Because you guys, are so important to the success of what Ryan can do and the rest of the offense.
Yeah, absolutely. The coaches always preach to us that it all starts with the O-line. If there's no O-line, we can't run the ball. We can't protect Ryan to be able to execute the plays that we have worked in.
All right, so I'm just going to assume for a moment that you guys in the offseason live in the weight room, or you're in the weight room a lot, because you've got to be big, you got to be strong, you got to be agile too, but you got to be big and strong and push guys around. How much time did you guys as an O-line did you spend in that weight room?
Every day in the summer in the off season, we were here from 2 to 6, a whole hour in the weight room, just knocking down the weights. That we try to work with the people in their own weight class. So linemen with linemen, skills with skills. So like we push each other. The linemen like to push each other in the weight room. We're our only competition at the moment right now. So we perfect each other. As I said, iron sharpens iron.
Yeah, you're exactly right, man. That's another great answer. That's awesome. So, Ryan, let me go to you as the QB of the Panthers. I mean, to see your offensive line staying hungry, getting bigger, getting faster and stronger and all those sorts of things, does it get you excited about the kind of year that you might be able to have as a team too?
It does. I love my guys up front. I'll do anything for my guys all the time. Any of my teammates, I'll do anything for them. So having these guys have my back all the time, it's great. It's great. It's a great feeling where I could stand behind them and know I'm being protected.
So, Ryan, listen, I would consider you a dual threat quarterback, but do you have a favorite? I mean, would you rather just air it out? Would you, take off on the run, or do you like to have a mixture, a nice balance of the two?
Oh, I love doing both. I mean, if you give me a lane, I'm gone. You better catch me because I'm gone. If you let me throw, I'll throw the ball. I will. I'll throw it to anyone who's open, and I trust my receivers to go get it, and they will go get it.
Ryan, do you, before the season begins, do you have like any numbers written out? Like, I don't know if you've got like a Post-it note on your mirror at home or something where you're like, I want to hit, 3,000 through the air and 1,000 on the ground or whatever. Do you do any of that kind of thing?
Well, in my head a lot. I didn't get to pass 2K yards passing. I definitely want to get to 2K, and if I can make it to 3K, I will. I got 500 rushing yards last year. That's great and all, but if I could let my receivers go out and do the thing, that puts less stress on me and the whole team. So if I just get it to them a lot more, I feel like we'll be in way better shape than me using my legs.
So you got some studs up front, obviously, but it sounds like you got some playmakers on the outside at receiver as well.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
All right, Coach Arredondo, let me go back to you to wrap things up. You guys are in a new league as well. I mean, you go into the Raincross Conference, you go into the Inland Valley League. I know the Mountain Pass was tough, right? San Jacinto and the emergence of Liberty. I mean, it was tough, any way you slice it. But you go to the Inland Valley League, and it looks like it might be wide open, right? Do you feel like this team feels like they should be in the hunt, in the mix for a league championship when it's all said and done?
No doubt. That's the main goal, is to win a league championship and, make CIF playoffs. But I think in the previous years, being in that tough league prepared us for this year, this moment. And I think we'll be ready for that. I'm confident we'll be ready to compete at a higher level and take lead.
Yeah, dude, that's a great answer. Yeah, you're right. You guys are battle tested, man. The Mountain Pass was no joke. Some good competition. Good competition there. So Coach, as you asked one of your players, going into the scrimmage, what are, besides coming out healthy, what are you hoping to see offensively from this team?
Like you said, we want to keep everybody healthy. It'll be a good test, and the teams we're going against, they're very competitive. We're just excited to finally have new faces in front of us and to really see where we're at and see what we need to work on going into week 0.
Well, Coach, listen, appreciate the time. Thank you guys for hopping on the show. I really do appreciate it. And I think it's going to be a fun season for the Perris Panthers, talking playoffs, talking league title and all those sorts of things. I think those things could be, like a real goal for you guys at the end of the season.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Pep, for having us. My guys, we appreciate it. And we look forward to getting together again later in the season.
Hey, it's easy. The more you win, the more you get on the show. Like, I mean, that's how easy it is.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
You got it. That's the OC, Mike Arredondo, and a couple of his studs with the Perris football team. Tell Coach Martin I said what's up as well, and best of luck this season.
All right, thank you.
All right, that's the Perris Panthers here on the Inland Sports Show.
Inland Sports.
All right, a big thanks to the Perris Panthers for joining us here on the Inland Sports Show. Once again, it is scrimmage week. Make sure you follow Inland Sports on social media, especially on Instagram and Twitter, a.k.a. X. We'll keep you up to date on any scores we get, any information, any pictures from the scrimmages, and, of course, Redlands and Beaumont playing in Hawaii tomorrow night, Thursday night, in a week 00 doubleheader out there in Hawaii. So, anyways, we appreciate you watching tonight. Next week, again, it'll be our full-on preview for the high school football season, as most teams will be playing in week 0. There's still a handful of schools that will wait until week 1, but I'd say about 80%, 85% of the schools in our coverage area will be playing next week. Big thanks to Trevor Schneider from Norco High School, the Perris Panthers, and all of you out there who sent us your feedback, your input, for our Boost preseason top 25 poll, and of course what we did last week, which was our league championship predictions. You guys messaged us and gave us your feedback as well, so we do appreciate it on that. All right, again, I'm Pep Fernandez. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week on your favorite show, the Inland Sports Show. Stay safe out there. God bless you. We'll see you next time.